Hi, good day guys, and welcome to my channel, The Human Condition. To those of you that have been sharing my posts, thank you so much, especially across different social media platforms. I really appreciate it, since it is the intention of this channel to share and promote knowledge about mental well-being. Please continue to do so and make suggestions or comments about any topics that you would like me to explore further. So today I'm going to be talking about negative internal dialogue. So, how to change the way you feel and behave, and how to become more effective in general living. So one of the most important things you can do is to learn to change or adjust the way that you communicate with yourself. We make images in our minds and we talk to ourselves. We run a continuous dialogue or script that is playing in the background in our thinking. So this inner voice dictates our feelings and our behavior. And hence it makes sense that if we can change the inner voice, we should be able to change our feelings and hence change our behavior. So how do we begin this process? We know from our daily interactions with other people that sometimes a person's tone, more than the actual words that they say, can affect a conversation. So a positive tone can affect the conversation positively, and a negative tone can affect the conversation negatively. The same is true for the internal dialogue or the voice that we run in our head. So today we are not going to be worrying about why the voice in our head is negative. Today we are just going to try to understand what it is and change or adjust where necessary. So I've got 5 easy steps. Step 1. Change your tone. Now very often we say things to ourselves like, "Oh geez, did you do that again? You really are so stupid. I can't believe you fell for that trick again." Now 2 things to be aware of with this type of negative tone. The first is that it's negative and critical. And the second is that it's said with so much certainty and conviction. This reinforces the belief in the unconscious mind. So changing the tone changes the belief. But how do we do this? It sounds easy enough, but is it really? Let's consider this. Try to change the tone of what you are saying into a ridiculous voice. So try a Mickey Mouse voice, or if you do impressions, try an impression. Changing the tone of the voice from so much certainty and criticism to something that is funny changes the feeling associated with the tone. It now becomes funny and accommodating. And the more ridiculous your voice is in your head, the better. Because it takes away the certainty and changes the energy of the voice within yourself. So the first one was change your tone. The more ridiculous, the better. Second one, break it down. So how do you know that? When you have a negative thought or you hear a negative voice, ask yourself questions like, how do you know that's true? So for example, that was such a stupid move. Why are you always so stupid? A negative conversation or negative internal dialogue that we run in our minds. So to break it down, you would ask something like, is it really stupid? How do you know it's stupid? What exactly does stupid mean? And when specifically were you being stupid? Are you always stupid? What does stupid look like? So breaking it down to get to the truth, it's like calling yourself out. You are challenging the core belief that resulted in this dialogue. So the first one again was to change your tone, and the second one was to break it down by asking and challenging the thought, as though you were talking to somebody else who was saying something ridiculous and you were challenging or calling them out on it. The third one, change the tense. So, when you have a negative dialogue with yourself, try to change the tense from present tense to past tense. So, for example, instead of saying, "You're such an idiot," try to change it to, "You were such an idiot." And that already puts some distance between what has happened presently, making this something that already occurred. So there's a distance between the negative dialogue and you. Now, if you combine that with number one, which was change the tone, and you combine it with number two, which is break it down, you will be changing your voice, so you'll be saying it in a ridiculous way. And it takes practice. You get used to it after a while. So sometimes you would have a thought, "Oh, that was such a silly thing to do." And as soon as you become aware of the thought, you change the voice, you break it down, and now you change the tense. So you're putting again distance between yourself and the thought, but you're also changing the energy because you've changed the tone. Furthermore, in asking questions and in breaking it down, you are actually challenging the core belief that was associated with that original internal dialogue when it was planted in your mind. Then the fourth one is put it into the third person. Again, the intention of distancing yourself from that internal dialogue, which is negative and does not serve you. So, you're definitely going to fail. That was so stupid to perform so poorly in that exam. You should have studied. So you could, if you put it into the third person, she definitely is going to fail. And then you change the tense. She definitely would have failed. But now you change the voice. And then you break it down. So how do you know she's going to fail? Was that the one determining aspect only to determine whether she'd pass or fail? Was that the only thing? So you break it down again. So you're challenging constantly the core belief system. Changing the tone again changes the energy. Changing the tense puts distance between yourself and the thought. And putting it into the third person externalizes it completely. Then the last one is to use the word "but" effectively. The word "but" creates so much opportunity for you to change that negative thought or that negative dialogue into something more positive and constructive. So, you are going to fail. You are going to fail that test, but if you work harder in the next one, there's a great chance that you will actually rock that assignment and you will pass the module. So the word "but" gives you an opportunity to change the sentence, and in doing that you're changing the dialogue, you're changing the energy, you're changing the feeling, you're changing the internal belief system associated with that negative internal dialogue. Now it sounds easy, there's only 5 steps, but it takes practice. And sometimes you'll make mistakes and you'll slip up and you'll realize after maybe the 5th thought that, gee, I've been engaging in an internal dialogue that is negative and not serving me. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's a process. The more you practice, the better you become at it. So I'm just going to run through it again. The first one is change your tone. So remember, the more ridiculous, the better. Try to make it and pick up accent. Think of a cartoon character. Make it really funny. Because in doing that, you take away the judgment and the criticism and the certainty associated with tone. And that changes the energy. Break it down. Again, you got to call yourself out. Every time you have a negative thought, you got to call yourself out as though you were challenging someone you loved. What is that about? Why are you thinking that? Why are you saying that? When does that happen? How do you know that's happening? Does that always happen? What does always mean? Question that. Constant badgering. Because again, you want to challenge that core belief that has been entrenched for many years. Change the tense. So whatever thought you had, change it into the past tense. This creates distance between yourself and the actual internal negative dialogue, which is a good thing because you do not see yourself as that anymore. Maybe that did happen, it's in the past, it's over and done with. I got a lot more opportunity to change today and hence change my future. And then put it into the third person, further externalizing this negative internal dialogue from yourself and protecting your core. And then the last one, use the word but effectively. But gives you an opportunity to recreate that energy, to change it into something positive. So these 5 techniques can be used for your internal dialogue to change it from negative to something better, to adjust, to change, to make to tweak, and be gentle with yourself. You're going to make errors in the beginning. Allow that, and just as you continue and as you become more aware and more conscious of your thinking, you'll be able to adapt these 5 steps to suit what works for you. If you're able to work with them all together, even better. But if you like any 1 or 2, use those. But you can use it also when you encounter negative people. So for example, if you encounter your narcissist and he's gaslighting you, as he says something to you, you can change the tone. You can break it down. You can change the tense. You can put it into the third person. And you can use the but effectively. And in that way, you don't internalize that criticism. It doesn't become part of your negative internal dialogue. So you're doing it straight away as it's occurring. I hope you found this helpful. If you'd like anything further on this, please email me at admin@zoyanaidu.com. And I will see you again.